My dear love, I wish to speak with you further about another tool that you may use to transform yourself and your life. Yes, we can call it the sacred fire, the power of the sacred fire, the healing of the sacred fire. And can also be called yagya. When we create a yagya, it is an invocation to the fire energy. And we start by honoring the mother. When we invoke this aspect of creation, the fire which is in the womb of creation, we manifest the fire in our own life. The yagya is a manifestation, a tiny aspect of that sacred fire. And the sacred fire exists in each one of us in our physical form. When I hold a yagya, all of you are compelled to go inside of yourself to experience that sacred fire as that essence inside of you. These rituals take you from the mind into the heart and from fear to love. And in that heart is the presence, the supreme influence of all that is, the divine inspiration of all that is for you. The sacred fire. Look at everything. All our rituals, we enjoy the fire, the flame. I have chosen to offer to all of you a Mahayagya in Japan. It is very rare for gurus to personally conduct these sacred fire ceremonies, and yet I'm choosing to personally preside over this yagya. During this opportunity, you can create significant contribution to your lineage, to your legacy, to fulfill your birthright as creators of this planetary evolution. The power of this yagya is unlike any before and will never again be offered. This is a one-time event, and its magnitude is beyond life-changing. It is my legacy to all of humankind. So, my beloved, let us discuss this power of the sacred fire further. In a way, it's very simple. On the third dimension, attention is always outside of oneself. Most of you are constantly looking outside of yourself to feel good. As we have discussed on these numerous calls, you're constantly seeking for sensation. Whether you are desperate for pleasure or running from pain, you are caught in the same game of sensation, which keeps you focused on looking outside of yourself for peace, joy, and fulfillment. In the higher dimension, the focus is very different. The fifth and sixth or more dimensions are about always turning within, use the power within, and manifest it for whatever it's needed. You will find everything you seek inside your own very self. It is all inside you. Whether you say Christ, whether you say Buddha, whether you say Ma, whether you say the Elohims, whether you say any Baba, any gurus, everything, any God that you can imagine, reside within you. The universe, the creation, is inside of you under the form of Kundalini. There is nothing which is not inside of you. Simply become aware and make decision to step inside of you. Yagyas are performed to bless, to serve the light, the blessings, the grace, to burn all past karma. The light is truth, and truth always prevails. Light will prevail. The light is divine. Its duty is to serve all beings. The personality doesn't know and does not generate sacred fire. The personality is to make the call for the sacred fire, meaning we can ask every single aspect of the personality to be filled with the sacred fire. The presence in and of the sacred fire concentrates itself and focus at a point where it will produce a special energy for the perfection of the personality. All of us, we are on a pilgrimage on this planet. We are all custodians and we are all guests of the Supreme Self. In manifestations. Now we are to shift our consciousness into a higher frequency and do it consciously. I've given many tools in all the different calls that we've started since January. Realize that the senses have a tendency to work with the mind and the ego and move one into lower frequencies. When one moves into these lower frequencies, one is feeding entities that live off of these dense vibration. So these lower frequencies bind one to lower realms, to what we call darkness or dense forces. Maybe some of you are not aware, but mankind often uses energy from entities, and this energy comes into one's thoughts and feelings and action as an extremely destructive power. However, now in the time of transfiguration for mankind, each one is to recreate the highest form of life here, to contribute to a higher consciousness, living quality life, to use the sacred fire in its power and in its role to burn, to reduce to ash and transmute all these impurities or frequency into higher knowledge, greater awareness. This sacred fire transforms slavery into victory, into divine perfection, into freedom, which then takes one into the original flame. For that, the personality is to give obedience to the supreme art of oneness consciousness. The divine supreme influence awaits to serve us day and night, at any moment. So to reinforce this energy, use the sacred fire presence. Burn everything that is no more needed in your life so you can step into your highest potential. To shift to higher frequencies, the personality is to give obedience. Obedience to what? Obedience to that higher intelligence. Obedience to what makes your heart beat. Obedience to life. So you be an embodiment of the sacred fire. You be the embodiment of the great divine inspiration. You be the embodiment of the supreme influence in your everyday moment life, your daily activities. Say yes to life. Yes to higher frequency. Yes to that place where you are in bliss, because that's your true nature. Awareness doesn't come by itself. Make an effort. Observe yourself. What we see is that the personality does what it chooses at any time, in reaction most of the time, lifetime after lifetime. If the personality obeys the higher self, then there will be a calmness, a peacefulness, a serenity, a tranquility within. And then you do your daily activities in that state. When there is purity of the flame of love and truth of life, which is part of the sacred fire, one's own freedom is manifested. Then you are living in dignity, in nobility. The substance of this human creation is not pure. So all of this creation is to be flooded by the sacred fire. There's nothing wrong with the humanness, except that it has come out of alignment. And it has to be back in coherence, in alignment. You see, the sacred fire is creation itself, except it is in a different attribute. Light is fire. When we did the course of divinization of matter, I recall seeing this beauty in front of me while we were working, where the light enters the cell. It's the fire. The fire enters the cells and burn what was unnecessary in that course, and your cells turn into light. Pure beauty for me. For ascension, whether it's the ascension of consciousness or ascension of matter, a person is to give permission to the sacred fire to render pure action into everything of past, present, and future. Only when the personality gives that permission to have all action, thoughts, and feeling washed, flooded by the sacred fire, only then the sacred fire will step into your life. Any energy that you do not appreciate in you, through the sacred fire, can turn into perfection. And you are the one to bring transfiguration in this action. In these actions. Why? Because it's your signature. Whatever you have created, you have to decreate it. With, of course, the support, the love, the care, the consciousness of higher dimensions. It's also important that you transfigurate yourself consciously. When these frequencies are shifted, then we can speak of the great white sisterhood, the sainthood, enlightenment, ascension. Then living life in higher consciousness is the way.